The rumblings in the universe announced the arrival of the congregation.
All the comets had traveled to different corners of the solar system to invite all the spacens. The party was visible across all the arms of our spiral galaxy. The main things for discussion were the settlement of orbitary parts between planets, tearing of debris produced by the planets, and last but not the least, the lottery. A shining red carpet welcomed every spaceman. It's that time of the congregation when each planet tries to make a stunning entry and impress the sun and other fellow spacens. The sun, with all his fairy presence and orangey glow, was at the entrance to welcome the family. It is customary for each planet to showcase all the sun-given talents to the audience and install them at the red carpet, and also make the sun proud of his offsprings. A loud siren signaled the entry of the first planet, Mercury, the messenger to the sun with a red-hot head and a hard, round and tiny body. All the spacens eagerly waited for the famous Mercury trick, which involves turning everything around it into ice and again into a red-hot state in a fraction of a second. It gave out a loud shrill as it entered and turned into an ice-cold object, and with it turned everything around it into frozen state. Then in a fraction of a second, it again took them to another extreme. But as expected, it mischievously pulled the trick too far, making the spacens brittle and panicky, requiring an intervention from the sun and earning his all too familiar wrath. That ended the first grand entry, and a huge cheer erupted for the next. Everything in the arena turned dark. Even the sun dimmed its light. Then in the dark background, there appeared a silky silver streak, which caught everyone's attention. There was a sizzling sound accompanying it. It was low to begin with, but it slowly began to rise as a silver object headed towards the arena. Then all of a sudden the lights reappeared. With the silky Venus by the side of the bright sun, it was a sight to behold. Everyone expressed their oohs and ahs, seeing Venus beside the sun. The whole fanfare was concluded by a warm hug between Venus and Papa Sun. Next up, it was Mars. As soon as its name was announced, everything turned red, and a chorus began to sing "Hero of the New World." Mars, with all its masculine features, made its grand entry. Amidst the praise, a banner across it read, "Super Planet." Adding to that showiness was the white shoes and a hat, which were a hit among the young spacens. It was the hero among the planets, and the next in throne to life. And it seemed ready in every bit. The next planet was the reigning king to the throne of life, the Earth. It is the main attraction of the congregation ever since its inception. Every spaceman would eagerly wait to see how the life was, how it was flourishing, and fantasize about sustaining life on its own. So once again, all the spacens were again keen to see how the life was flourishing. But to everyone's surprise, even after announcing its name, the Earth did not turn up for a long time. Then it was announced that the scheduled arrival was rescheduled to the end as per the request of the Earth. This threw every spaceman into a tizzy. Its delay became an instant talking point of the congregation, and there were all kinds of speculations doing the rounds. The buzz caused by the delay was overwhelmed by the huge sound of tidance, which signaled the entry of the big Jupiter, the largest among the planets. A sight of swirling satellites appeared as its name was announced. It completely covered the background, and its giant figure, with alternate brown and white stripes from top to bottom, filled the eyes of every spaceman. Its overwhelming size gave every other spaceman an opportunity to measure its size against something truly phenomenal. Then, Jupiter, also known as Juggler Jupiter, set himself up with a huge sigh and untold the spacens there. with a special juggling act
of juggling its 64 moons.
Every spaceman was awestruck by its ability, and several smaller spacens, in their keenness to test Jupiter's juggling skills, threw themselves into the juggle. Jupiter was up to the task, and was able to hold as many as it wished. An icing on the cake was when it unveiled its special act, and rotated its alternate white and brown stripes in opposite direction, along with the juggle. The feeling of awe was elevated to another level, and left every spaceman there spellbound. Just as everyone was reeling under the awesome act of Jupiter, there was a sudden entry of Saturn into the arena. It came sliding in and created a huge ripple in space with its drag. Saturn joined Jupiter and started its own act of hoop dancing. It split its disk into several hoops and started rotating them from top to bottom, causing huge ripples which blew several spacens off their axis. The stunning sight of two huge heavenly bodies having fun was an enthralling sight,
and set the arena scorching.
After the exhilarating act, it was Uranus, the trailblazer. It came rolling down the arena. The famous tilt in its axis enabled it to roll effortlessly. Uranus rolled at tremendous speed and set its trail on fire. It sent the crowd into raptures and set the stage for the entry of Neptune. The windy Neptune sent strong gusty winds ahead of it to announce its arrival. It descended upon the arena, spiraling down like a tornado. Then everybody came together for a great picture, the grand moment of the entries of the congregation. Then every spaceman's attention turned towards the last entry, the Earth. There were all sorts of speculations, and everyone was eager to see the reality with their own eyes. The Earth finally arrived, but without the usual fanfare. Instead, it was in a space ambulance. It made every spaceman even more curious. As soon as the door opened, one could hear intense coughs and a kind of smoke emanating, which filled their surroundings with bad odor. Every spaceman turned away due to the pungent smell, and dreaded as to what would come out of it. To everyone's dismay, it was the Earth, in a wheelchair. The doctor inspected it and confirmed the struggle of the Earth. Thus, every spaceman was surprised that once an invincible Earth, with all its beauty and resources, could become like this. What about the reason? Every spaceman out there knew that the Earth's days were numbered. Every spaceman was sure that the lottery would happen sooner than expected. The congregation deciding the lottery has started. The sun was seated on a throne on a high pedestal at the center, and everyone was around him. As soon as the meeting got underway, the first question that was raised was the state of the life on Earth. Mars, next in line to life in all probability, started the proceedings.
"Did everyone see how the Earth is?" said Mars. "What a pity that once a glorious planet is reduced to this state. Everyone should ask whether it deserves to hold life anymore," said Mars in a high voice.
"The humans on it send nasty metal objects on my surface. They now intend to take over me. This is total injustice."
"Yes, those humans are sending their metal objects onto my surface too," said another spaceman.
Yes, Papa. They are sending probes onto my moons too, said a bullish Saturn.
"They need to be stopped," shouted Jupiter. "Yes, they need to be stopped," a collective cry erupted.
Amidst the chaos, beautiful Venus turned towards the sun and said in a humble and polite voice, "Father, the cry is valid. Please do the needful before things go out of your hand." They all offered their protection to Earth to sustain life. But now, every spaceman feels they're in jeopardy, and they're afraid of taking the brunt of the humans. Just as the situation seemed to get out of control, the sun took out the whip of fire and lashed out the famous solar shockwave, which sent jitters across the room. Everyone calmed down, and the sun began to talk.
I have heard what all of you had to say. I will do the needful. I will think and act for each and every one of us. You will hear my judgment tomorrow,
said the sun, and left for his residence. At his residence, the sun stood alone looking over the horizon of the universe with its blazing crown spilling fire. Father, a faint voice propped up. It was Venus. Come in, my daughter, said the sun. Then Venus began to speak. It said, the earth needs a new beginning. Otherwise, it might get destroyed. You can give it a new beginning and a new future it can look forward to. She said. The sun quietly nodded his head and embraced Venus in his arms. The next day, the congregation again began. The sun started to speak. He said, let us all stand up to the challenge and get back our beloved earth as we intend it to be. Bright, shining, and colorful, let us take a vow that we would stand by the earth until this happens. And he left the room. The sun then visited the space block in which the earth was being taken care of. His heart was filled with anguish, seeing the earth helplessly lie on the bed. Pollution was being taken out of it, and it was getting filled with oxygen to prevent it from choking. Its lifeline, water, was also being purified to get rid of the pollutants. Its surface was scarred and parched, and its hills shaven off. He remembered how it was once green and prospering. The sun felt a deep pain inside, which sent a strong wave of heat, the warmth of which woke up the earth. The sun then said, the life you have supported is damaging you and is now uncontrollable. You need some care, and we will provide it. What about the life? Said Earth. The sun, in a sad tone, said, you have to be stripped of life to regenerate. The earth then said, so you want me to be bare in front of others after being full of life? The sun then stuttered and said, yes. The earth then again started to plead and said, Father, give me one chance. I will somehow make it up and regenerate again. The sun thought deeply and said, yes, one more chance. What shall we do? The earth then requested the special lottery of message to send a message to all the beings, and especially the humans, to protect it and regenerate it to its past glory. The sun thought it could do that much for its beloved earth, and said yes to the special lottery of message. The sun then convened the meeting again and informed all the Spacens that the earth is going to get another chance to regenerate itself, and mentioned that there is going to be a special lottery of message. The lottery would pick the special being that would send out the message to humans, reminding them the care that should be taken of the earth. Then it was the time for a recurrence of the lottery. The big black hole was covered with a huge blanket and could be opened only when a huge solar flare is produced by the sun. All the Spacens lined up behind the sun so that do not come in the way of the flare. The sun gathered a huge gust of energy and produced a strong solar flare. It swept some Spacens off their feet and swayed some bigger ones. A huge roller completed, and the energy blew off the blanket of the black hole, signaling the start of the lottery. After a few minutes of anticipation, the big black hole threw a saucer with the name of Butterfly on it. The congregation then arranged for a special message from the butterfly, and the butterfly made its speech in the following way.
In the beginning, the earth was a pristine place. It was a lovely feeling to be on earth in its prime. It was a wonderful place in the universe. The air was fresh. The mountains were green, the water pure. The diversity in every small thing was like a jewel in the crown. It was a pleasure to fly above it and see it blossoming. We enjoyed each other's company and thought we were ageless. The journey was ecstatic, but it wasn't to be forever. The destruction came from its most magnificent and most beloved beings. the humans. It started slowly in the beginning. They chipped away at its life, turning its waters stale and scouring it. Then the hills were chopped, the lands were made barren, and they continued till the air became unbreathable. Slowly but surely, it was on a path of destruction. Now it is helpless. At this moment, I would request the humans, especially the young ones, to take care of Earth and make its air breathable, water pure, and bring a smile back to Earth. This is my message to all the beings on Earth, so that we can all live happily ever after. Thank you.